Right, this is one of the videos you want to stop everything that you are doing, get all your notifications off, and listen in very, very carefully. If you're a new trader or a struggling trader, struggling to hit those payouts, struggling to get even funded, you are stuck in a cycle, my friends. And if you do not step out of that, have a look at yourself from the outside and realize that you are in a cycle, then that is just going to continue time and time again, month after month, paycheck after paycheck, and you are still going to be chasing that dream 12 months, 18 months, 24 months from now. So you need to understand what I'm just about to tell you and really take this serious. Now, as I always say, in these videos, you need to get a pen and paper because these are just not off the cuff, look at a vlog and look at this nonsense. These are hardcore details that you need to take on board, all right? You are in a psychological cycle. Now, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to call that yet because many of you YouTubers may even start stealing this type of content and even my names, our names, because the mundane trading content is getting boring. Everybody's clued into it. And now they all of a sudden want doing psychology videos. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know we've been doing this for years. All right. So we need to continue the hard work. So you've pushed hard. You get close to payout, you get close to funded, you feel that momentum building. You think, oh, I might be able to go full time. I might actually get to that payout. And then suddenly, bang, you get absolutely hooked by some of the world's best heavyweight boxers. And that's what trading does to you. And you don't know no different. You ain't built no new habits. You ain't built the mastery skills and you collapse. Absolutely collapse. But here's the real truth, my friends. It's not the market that's holding you back. And you've heard this a million times. It's not your strategy that's holding you back. It is just a part of your psychology that you haven't mastered yet, okay? And until you learn to face this part of your psychology, you are going to keep repeating the same cycle time and time again, no matter how much you learn about technical analysis and about 25 accounts and about spend $10,000 to make $20,000 a month, which is just casino kind of style gambling, right? You need to learn the right way if you want to be a profitable, long-term, sustainable trader, okay? Learn the right way. Do the reps. Now, this is the pain that every new trader, and even traders that have been doing it for 2-3 years, but just can't get over that hurdle. This is the real pain. So let's get real for a second, all right? Let's just get real right now because that's what we're about here. Again, you're not struggling because you can't trade. A lot of people can trade. Most people I teach, most people that are watching this right now, and you yourself can probably trade. You have a basic strategy that is going to allow you to get money out of the market. But you're struggling because you can't hold success. Now that's quite strange what I'm just about to say. You can't hold success. I've been there. I was there in my career. I was athlete and all that kind of stuff, footballer, and I've been there in many, many other things, right? But you can't hold success. Now, a lot of you can't even get to near success and hold near success. Never mind holding success, right? And what I'm going to share with you can work can work in two different ways, but I'm going to concentrate on one way in relation to trading. So you may hit 90% of your profit target, all right? Especially in futures. You may get to, you've got a 50K account, you need to get to 53,000. You may get to 51.5. You may get to 51.75. You may even get to 52. But then something happens. And I know this is happening because it happened to me for years and it happens with every single trader that I mentor and coach, at least once in their trading journey. Fear creeps in. The doubt creeps in. The whole belief systems, the old voice creeps in, all right? Now, you tighten up, you start to hesitate, you get a little bit overwhelmed, you want to pass, you might want to pass it on a Friday before the weekend, you overtrade. Next thing, again, you've been KO'd by the market. This is no game to be playing around in. Some people say, oh, I treat it like a game. Yeah. Don't treat it like a game, all right? Treat it like a serious businessman. That's how you need to do that. And you're just going to have another reset. You're just going to press reset, another $40. You're just going to buy another challenge, another futures challenge. And you're going to promise yourself, I'm never going to do this again. If I've shown you some of my old journals, I have F this, you that, you loser, you this, all this negative energy, pages after pages. And I still never woke up until I understood how the mind works. And that's what these videos are for. Now, you won't change. It just won't work. Not until you understand what keeps happening, all right? And this is what keeps happening. I'm going to call it, this is what we're going to call it. So if you hear anybody else start talking about this within trading, you know where they got it from, because I have never seen this across any of these trading channels. The oscillation principle. Now, oscillation can work in two different ways. It's basically a wave, right? Now, In finance and in business, you can grind and get to say 10K a month. And then you get comfortable. And then you start to spend, you start to go down. And then you get to like 3K a month and the pain kicks in and you're like, wow, I've only got 3K in my bank. I can't go below 3K. Now that could be 5K for some people. It could be $300 for some people. It could be 30K for some people. But that pain barrier, whatever it is, then basically kicks you up your backside. And you don't like that emotional pain. You don't like that you're at this low figure, right? And then you get to work and you push yourself all the way back up to around about that 10K and you get comfortable. That is a way of thinking of finance and business. I've struggled with that. I still struggle with that right now. A lot of people do, but that is how you look at it in finance. But in trading, we have a different beast in this oscillation principle, okay? So you'll push, yay, new challenge. I'll get to where I need to get to. I'm nearly there, I'm nearly close. Can you believe it? I'm gonna be a funded trader. I'm gonna get my first payout. And all of a sudden, you're lost control of these emotions. You keep progressing, and then you're getting close and you're now experiencing a discomfort. This is a discomfort that you're not really used to. You've never been in this situation. You've never been in this environment. And you start thinking about what you're going to do with your first payout, what you're going to do with when you tell everybody you finally got a payout and you think you're getting to be a full-time trader, right? And then, without you understanding what's going on a chemical or biological neuroscience level, bang, you regress. That's what happened. And you self-sabotage yourself. I have someone that I work with and he said he gets to a certain level in his bank account or when he's trading and his peers are consistently struggling and he feels bad and starts to self-sabotage himself. Honestly, true story, as they say. So think of this as a swing pendulum, all right? You grind your way, you're grinding. What are you actually grinding for? And then you fall apart. You fall apart. Now, there's many psychological elements involved in that, but this is the oscillation principle. And I will repeat it again, from here. Because most people only perform when they're in pain. You and I only perform when we are in pain. And I can tell you that that's an absolute fact. Anytime that I've been great in my life or achieved something, it's because I was put myself in pain first, not knowing what I was doing. My actions put me in pain. I've got to sort something out here. I've got nothing in my bank account. I've got nothing. I've got to sort myself out here. And then you go to work. So that's when the pressure kicks in. And they say diamonds are made of pressure and all that cliche, but that's actually true. So let's think about it. If we need to be in pain to get where we need to get to, right? Have a little think about that before I then go continue, because that's going to make sense. So the moment things get good, your mind feels safe, but it doesn't feel entirely safe in trading. In the world, it gets safe, comfort. But in trading, because you're trying to get somewhere, you feel in a different environment. You don't feel safe. You feel, well, I need to go back to my old belief systems, back to the pain, right? And this is very unfamiliar. This emotion that you're having now of winning is unfamiliar with you because you've been training so hard, you've been trying to get to a payout so hard, and this is now unfamiliar. So you self-correct. Where are you normally? Where's your pendulum? Your pendulum is where you're normally used to 90% of the time. And that might be broke, that might be not successful, and that's why you can't get a hold of this success. And so you go backwards and you downgrade, you down yourself back to the emotional baseline, which is your floor. And that is the oscillation principle. Your floor is what you're familiar with. So you go back to your floor, the pain kicks in again, you then want to get somewhere, you then work hard again, and then you get to a level where it's discomfort, or you get to a level in finance where you can't get above and you get comfort. So it's very funny how the mind works. See what I mentioned there. In finance, you get comfort. In trading or any success, you get discomfort. So you can imagine what's actually happening within the mind. But concentrate on the discomfort part for this right now. So you go back to the floor. So what is the floor? What is the floor, you say? You got the ceiling, okay? And you've got the floor. Just think of a wave. Ceiling, hey, now, it's very painful. Let me get back up to the ceiling. Yes, great. I'm not sure. I don't want to really go above here. So go back down to the pain, right? Think of that wave. Think of that wave. And I'm going to put a very detailed module in my program around this type of thinking. Okay. Now, you can't, everybody says raise the floor. This is called floor flipping. And I have learned this from a business mentor, this segment here. Floor flipping. Now, everybody says raise the bar. So you get to the top, raise the bar. Everybody says aim higher, aim for the sky, aim higher. You know, raise the roof, as they say. But that's the wrong target. It's very hard to raise the roof if you've never been there. So you've never been in an environment, okay? If raising the bar worked, you'd already be funded. You wouldn't be looking at videos like this. You would already be funded. You would already be taking 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50K months. You'd be comfortable with that. So raising the bar don't work because you all want to raise the bar. Me, I want to raise the bar. The problem isn't the ceiling. The problem is the floor, my friends. The level you collapse to when things get tough. What's your floor? You ever seen people and they're doing really, really well and then they love a drink or they love a smoke or they love whatever or womanizing and things like that. I've experienced these things, all right? Where do you go back to? Straight to that floor. And then it takes you so long to get back up. So long to get back up. Now, what happened? Things were going so well. What happened? You resorted back to your equilibrium, which is your floor, all right? So your floor's too low. Your floor is like everybody else. Your floor, your baseline habits are too weak. That's right. And if you're offended by that, good, because you should be. Good. You should be offended by that. All right. This is real life, real honest stuff. Right. Your baseline, your habits are too weak. Your floor's too low. Your standards, they aren't built to sustain success. They're rocky water. Bang, blown over any sign of bad weather. Your foundations are gone. You're not built. They're not built properly. You need to build your floor solid and raise the floor. And every time you raise the ceiling raises, raise that floor. All right. So why does floor flipping really, really matter? Why does it matter? Well, it means that you're going to stop trying to raise your goals. So stop trying to raise your goals. You might say, this is crazy. Yeah, well, everybody has New Year's resolutions. Everybody has a goal list. I've got a goal list here. 20 things I want to complete in my life. They're extreme. Everybody has that. But it's the floor you need to rise because you're only going to get to those big numbers that you want in trading if you raise your pain threshold. Your pain threshold. Yep, very, very important. So raise the minimum level you allow yourself to operate. What's the minimum level that you allow yourself to operate? Is that one funded account? Is that a minimum of $1,000 payout a month? Is that 5 funded accounts? And is that a minimum of $5,000 a month? Raise your floor. Raise your standards that you operate in a day-to-day life. And that's where discipline, I've got all those types of videos. Go and watch those videos about raising the floor. Raising the floor. Very, very important. So raise your daily standards. Raise your discomfort tolerance. If your discomfort tolerance at the moment is $1,000, raise that to $5,000. If your discomfort, I've only got one funded account, raise that to 5 funded accounts. Raise it. Your best progression is always going to come from pain. Think about that. You will only going to progress to the best of your ability from pain. No plan B. Someone said to me, Fran, what happened? Why did you stick to this? I said, there's no plan B. This needs to work. This needs to work. I'd been in and out of the game for a while. I was 40 years old and I said, this needs to work because I'm not going to do anything else. This is what I love doing. I want to teach. I want to trade. I want to make money and I want to help others. It needed to work. No plan B. I felt cornered. I felt the pressure. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to run. In my office, in my house, nowhere to go. Let's build. All in. They're the standards that you need to have. There's no plan B. Well, if this don't work, I might do an AI agency. Well, if this don't work, I might, let me try and find some other signals. If this strategy don't work, let me go and find another one. If this mentor who's earning 100 grand every day, it doesn't work, then I'm going to do that. I mean, I've got to be honest, if I was earning 100 grand a day or 100 grand or 300 grand in a trade a week, I don't think I probably would be on YouTube, to be honest. I'd have a private group. Maybe I would, because I like helping and I like creating content, but I'd probably just have a private community for high level traders, you know? So raise your standards. Raise your standards. So floor flipping takes a level of urgency and it turns it into the normal. It just becomes the normal for you hitting 10K months, 20K months, 30K months. So how we're going to bring this into trading? In trading, we're going to flip the floor. We're going to do floor flipping. That's what we're going to do. And it looks like this. Your minimum standard becomes following your rules. Minimum standard, you must follow your rules. The minimum. And most of you don't follow your rules for one day. All right? You must follow your rules. And especially when you're emotional. Especially when you're emotional. The minimum standard becomes not trading every single day. The minimum standard becomes when you're unsure. You don't trade when you're unsure. The minimum standard becomes protecting your capital over your greed. Protecting your capital over your greed. Your minimum standard should be journaling your emotions and your trade every single day. Your minimum standard becomes acting like a funded trader before you even are a funded trader. You see the saying, act like a CEO before you CEO. Do the things that athletes do before you become an athlete. This is not fugazi. This is real stuff. This is the things that you need to do. You make your floors so strong that even when you fail, everything's still in structure. You make your floors so strong, but even when everything fails, all your bills are paid. That's a game changer in everything that you're going to do, all right? So how's the floor flipping strategy and the principle going to obviously help us break this oscillation principle, okay? So you're no longer going to swing between extremes. We're no longer going to be here, 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 here. And then our medium in the middle, our medium of that is kind of like, oh, I'm just a bit okay. We're not going to do that, all right? Our lows are going to be close to where our highs are. That's why we're going to raise the floor, right? Your drawdowns become survivable. They don't blown out in one day. Your wins feel normal, not destabilizing. Your identity finally matches who the hell you want to be and what you want to achieve. Your identity. Stop oscillating. Start rising. That's what you need to do. Now, these are deep videos. They're not what you're going to find everywhere else. They're never going to get loads of views because the TikTok world want to get green Lambos in a week off some £49 Discord. This is not for you. This is not for you. This is for serious traders who want to get where they need to get to. Now, we are doing a 5-day challenge on December the 1st. Go and check that out. Quick 5 days, an hour per day with me. Ridiculously cheap. Like, just I can't even say how ridiculously cheap it is. You don't get to work with me at those types of prices normally. So go and check that out. And if you need any help with any of this, before 2026 kicks in, there's a link below and get on a call with me and we'll see if we can help you. And of course, you need to see if we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us. Because if you're on this get rich quick stuff and you're on this all this nonsense, this is not for you. This is not for you. It's just not for you. Okay? So no fluff, no hype, true stuff. Get to work, raise that floor,